What is up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Today I'm going to do a follow-up review on the new Xenek Ascent ground blind. This happens to be in the DSD Dave Smith camo. I did an initial review, I don't know, goodness, probably a month or so ago. I've now had a chance to hunt with this blind for 2 weeks in Indiana, for multiple days in Kentucky, and gonna give you my thoughts on it after hunting with it for this long. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's going back to Shields for my money back. So why? I mean, there's a lot of positive features in this blind, and I'm not knocking the blind. I don't think it's for me and my style. I hunt a lot of wide open fields. Today here in Indiana, we got 10, 12 mile an hour winds, not over the top winds. And this blind is sitting here shaking and vibrating, and it's not so much on the thicker materials, but this thin 4-way stretch, it's shaking severely, as you can see right there. I've had multiple birds approach my setup this year, only to get to within 30, 40 yards and turn around and leave. And I'm doing nothing different than I've been doing for years outside of using this blind. It seems like anytime I've got winds that are more than 6, 7, 8 miles an hour, I get all this shake that's going on right now. Again, these are 10, maybe 12 mile an hour winds today. They're really not that bad. I don't get this shake in other brands of blinds like the old double bulls or the Baronet, the Ox series Baronets. But in this, on the 4-way flap and down here, because there's nothing tying it all together, you can see I get just tons of flap and movement. And that shake is enough to make these birds nervous. Also, I will tell you, in the sun, there is still a significant sheen on this blind. I love the camo pattern. My friend Dave Smith designed it, but the material has got a sheen. Now it's an overcast day today, so it actually looks pretty good, but on days when I've hunted in the sun, there's a really bad sheen. It's not as bad as the original one. I think that was an Apex blind, but there's a sheen. Another reason I'm taking it back is, and I'll go in and show you here, is I've now had to repair 7 of the little hook loops. I've had to re-sew 7 of these on these things right here. These, you can see, I had to sew every single one of them down this side on. Every single one of them came off with almost no pressure whatsoever. I had to re-sew these straps down here. You can see my stitching that I did. I pulled on them, not even pull, just barely, and they popped right apart. This one here is all twisted. I've got pockets that the seams are pulling out. Look at this. Like, there's nothing to it. These zippers, oh my gosh, these zippers on these windows drive me crazy. This one in particular. These are these windows, vertical windows that you can flip down. I don't know how much I like it after I've used it, but I can tell you, for some reason, this one in particular, every time I set up this blind, this comes apart right down here, and I have to completely unzip the window, reseat it, and zip the window entirely up. It drives me crazy. I've also had the main zipper on the door. I just did it to me when I got out of the blind right here. This main zipper, the lower one, I'll be hunting for a while and I'll look down and the whole thing's like unzipped right here. The zipper doesn't hold together. It's so aggravating. I'm not knocking Xenek. Maybe I got a lemon in their new blinds, but it's just been one thing after another. Oh, The very first time I hunted with this blind in Kentucky, I was actually using the pack that comes with the blind, let's get out here in better daylight, to hike up a small mountain to go hunt. And halfway up this small mountain, I hear a huge tear, and the blind, or the bag that carries it, tore almost in half. Now I don't have it with me today, but it's back at my house. It's not even usable, and I had another gentleman with me. He saw it happen. So I don't know, for 400 bucks, I can't live with this stuff. I mean, I've had so many birds flare this year, and it's not always the blind's fault. The birds are being funny this year. But I can't have the blind be an issue on birds that are being finicky. And I'm not making excuses. It's hunting. I get it, you know, and I screw up too. You know, I call at the wrong time, I set up wrong or whatever. But I know for a fact this morning, some birds I had 2 toms come out here, and they literally ran every bird out of the field. They were here within 50 yards of me, did not come up here to where I'm at. And they ran every bird in both of these fields out, being aggressive, but they would not come up here. And I really believe it's because this blind is sitting here shaking because of 10-mile-an-hour winds. That's just not acceptable to me. So I'm heading out west tomorrow. I'm heading out to South Dakota and Nebraska. There's a Shields on my way, and this is going to get dropped off of that Shields for my money back. I'm going to take my 1 Baronet Ox 4. I've got 3 double bulls right now that are out of commission. They're getting repaired. I'm hoping the canvas repair shop calls me today and says they're ready to pick up. If not, I'm going to be stopping somewhere and buying a blind of something, so I've got at least 2 blinds with me on this trip. So that's it. Again, I'm trying not to badmouth Xenek. I think they're doing some innovative stuff, but this blind just is not for me. Now, if you're somebody who hunts deep in the timber where you can get out of the woods and all that and out of the sun, maybe this is the blind for you. This front window is pretty awesome the way it adjusts, but the whole thing's just not for me. I don't like the setup. This blind is incredibly complicated in all of the panels and everything it's got going on. I really like a much simpler blind that's heavy duty, and this just isn't the blind for me. So with that, I'm gonna quit rambling and wrap this up. And as always, God bless, stay safe out there, and it's a new day in the outdoors.